Okay. Welcome. This is some weird music. Welcome to the Media Speaks Live, TMS Live. Whether you're watching on YouTube, on Google+, on the MediaSpeaks.com, on a little HTML window open on Facebook, or whether you're listening tomorrow on Stitcher, iTunes, Podkicker, wherever you get your weekly The Media Speaks, we welcome you. We welcome you to an amazing show. I'm joined today by two of my very good friends. Joined today by Sam DiGangi of The Correct Views and The Media Speaks. How you doing, Sam?
Greetings, Kyle, and unsettled souls of the world over.
And I'm also joined by the late, great Bay, DLAKE.
Welcome to the war, Kyle. Thanks for having me on the show.
I think we got a pretty good show lined up. We got a few things to talk about. We've got some crazy, trippy rap hip-hop instrumentals behind me. I don't know why I picked this song today. I'm going to end it now. So, we got a ton of stuff to talk about. I got an article that I want to get into, but before we do that, you know what I thought we'd do? What do you think we should do? I think maybe, I don't know.
DLAKE read the news! DLAKE read the news! DLAKE read the news! DLAKE read the headlines! DLAKE read the headlines! DLAKE read the news! DLAKE read the news!
Hey, that's awesome, Kyle. I have been reading the news. We're definitely going to get into Bilderberg. I know Sam's got a lot to say about it. Bilderberg actually talks nukes, Euro nationalism, and Barack Obama leak. Let's look forward to talking about that in the next few minutes. Let me bring up a few other things first. This week, I put out a special report based on the article at Story Leak by Mikhail Thalin. NBC censors Snowden's critical 9/11 comments from primetime audience. I played some of that on my show earlier this week. Basically, when Snowden's talking about 9/11, the Boston marathon bombings, and how intelligence agencies had all the information to possibly prevent that, the information wasn't shared. And we're just stacking more hay on top of the haystack, which makes the needle harder to find, if not impossible. And everyone should check out that article at Story Leak. NBC censors Snowden's critical 9/11 comments from primetime audience, or just check out my special report on it. This week, reports Donald Sterling, the NBA Clippers team owner, was declared mentally incapacitated. I imagine Donald Sterling is going to fight this one too, but Shelly Sterling, actually his wife, not that girlfriend whore that he was running around with, has been granted the authority to sell the NBA Los Angeles Clippers to Steve Ballmer because her husband and co-owner Donald Sterling has been declared mentally incapacitated under the terms of the trust the couple owns the team through. That made her sole trustee the decision maker. And so we're going to keep in touch with this stuff going on at ESPN and in sports news.
Wait, he's angry about this decision?
It doesn't really say how Donald Sterling's feeling about this so much. Donald Sterling has publicly flip-flopped between saying, "Why would I want to fight my partners?" as he did on CNN, and promising to fight to the bloody end in court, as he did through his lawyer in official response to the charges against him from the league. However, if he has been declared mentally incapacitated, that would take him out of the picture.
Yeah,
under the terms of the trust. Okay.
Won't be legally able to conduct business, but I mean, that was kind of his defense, right? As to why he was recorded and why he was saying stupid things, was like, I'm an old man who doesn't remember that well. So
yeah, and there's actually some reports that the reason that she was recording is because he's like, I can't remember stuff. Anyways, that's in Donald Sterling news. It's kind of a recap of things we've been talking about the past couple weeks. Breaking just came out yesterday. House votes to stop medical marijuana and hemp prosecutions. This is important, guys. This is a good one. Washington, D.C. On Friday morning, the House voted 219, my lucky number, to 189 to halt prosecutions of medical marijuana users in states where medical marijuana is legal and they have a doctor's prescription for the medicine. An appropriations amendment. An appropriations amendment offered by Representative Dana Rohrabacher, the Republican from California, prohibits the DEA from spending funds to arrest medical marijuana users. The amendment had bipartisan support. Tom Engel, chairman for Marijuana Majority, issued this statement, quote, "The historic vote shows just how quickly marijuana reform has become a mainstream issue. The last time a similar amendment came up, it didn't come very close to passing. But since then, more states have passed medical marijuana laws, and a couple have even legalized marijuana for adults. More states are on this way later this year in 2016, and it's clear that more politicians are beginning to realize that the American people want the federal government to stop standing in the way. If any political observers weren't aware, or anyone watching the show is not aware now, that the end of the war on marijuana is nearing." Well, they just found out. Thanks to the Speaks.com, David Lake. Let's go back to the Bilderberg news. And Sam, did you have any Bilderberg news to add?
I was just on mute so that I wouldn't pick up on your report. Yes, I do, my friend. The Guardian, Bilderberg at 60 inside the world's most secretive conference. For those of you that don't know, Christelle and I made a movie called Bilderberg, Why It Mattered to Me. And you got to remember as well, she got so into this because she wasn't really part of it prior, that if we'd have gotten married when we wanted to, we would have actually. She wanted to go to Bilderberg if it was in America for our honeymoon. So some of us take this very, very seriously, and I'm going to show you why. It's been a week of celebrations for Henry Kissinger. I think DLAKE went over this prior. On Tuesday, he turned 91. And Wednesday, he broke his personal best in the 400-meter hurdles, probably about 9 years. It says Thursday is the opening day of the influential 3-day summit, and it's also the 60th anniversary of the Bilderberg Group's first meeting, which took place in Holland, as many of you know, on May 29th of '54. It goes on, so this event is a red-letter occasion, and the official participant shows list for the 2014 conference is a peculiarly high-powered affair. Remember as well, these are the people that spawned the euro. These are the people that have, if not engineered personally, at least done all they could to have foreknowledge of the Great Depression of the 21st century, of the 2008. This is something that they keep an eye on very, very closely. They manipulate things in the world behind closed doors, and almost no one seems to be asking questions. They're going to be discussing whether or not privacy is dead. This is by the same people that have been destroying privacy for us.
Yeah, so I can't manipulate my things behind closed doors. Know what I'm saying?
Again, I like when other people manipulate my things behind closed doors, but now we're getting off topic. It says, the exquisite irony, the world's most secretive conference is discussing whether or not privacy exists. This is like Nazis discussing whether or not Jews exist. Certainly it says it does for some. It's just birthday bunting that's gone on in Copenhagen. There's also a double ring of 3-meter high security fence. So they fenced the whole place off again. They're discussing whether or not privacy exists. I have a feeling the discussion is more like a eulogy. This is something that I wouldn't be surprised if it was in there titled that way, just to placate the few of us that are watching. I really believe that. They're going, again, to be discussing nukes, Iran and North Korea, nuke plants, nuke weapons, whatever. Iran is setting to build a nuclear power plant in one of the most active earthquake zones in the world right now, and they suspect that it could become more active based on the behavior that the area has had recently among people that have studied these things. We know that the earthquake in Japan caused one, if not all, of the meltdowns. So you do not need a massive tidal wave to inflict a meltdown due to an earthquake if the earthquake is big enough. You don't hear them discussing that. If they are, they're keeping it under wraps. I think that needs to be addressed. You're not hearing.
I think they're pretty much keeping everything they're talking about at Bilderberg under wraps, or at least trying to really hard.
Well, they put out what they're studying or what they're going to be covering as if they're doing some big epiphanous favor for everyone.
Yeah, They're just helping out. They're just bringing all the world's power players together there to help out. I posted a couple of jokes about Bilderberg last night on Alex Jones's page. Bilderberg nonprofit is an oxymoron.
Well, yeah, exactly. It says in I guess you could say that, but it all depends. Some people know what's going on, some don't. It says in 2010, Osborne, the most proud to have launched the most radical transparency agenda that the country has ever seen. But where is it? Pardon me, listeners.
How dare you?
It says we know that he's scheduled to discuss the situation in the Ukraine. But we're supposed to believe that this is something that nobody needs to know about. The biggest people in all the countries likely that are hearing my voice right now, you don't think it matters that they're talking about Ukraine? This affects your country, regardless of which side of this Putin on the Ritz that you're on. It doesn't really matter. Your country's talking about it, and you don't get to know about it.
Right. Let me interject this point number 6 that Daniel Elston brings up in his article on RT. The Bilderberg meeting, some of their agenda was leaked. Critics of the U.S. president blame him. This is number 6, from Ukraine to Syria, Barack Obama's foreign policy. Critics of the U.S. president blame him for betraying America's leadership overseas, citing failures to defend American interests in Syria and lately in Ukraine. Obama's newly announced doctrine calls on scaling down reliance on military force and using diplomacy and collective action instead. Bilderberg members will discuss whether this policy is doomed.
But it doesn't matter what they discuss, because you got to remember, and this is important. They say that this is just an area where they to put your knees up. You could just laugh it off. It's not a big deal. It's just a place where we're not going to talk business. Well, I'm sorry. DLAKE, what's your business? Sticker junkie. Sam, what's your business? DJing, band. Kyle, what's your business? Buying a house, working a station. Maybe these leaders, maybe their business isn't world affairs. Maybe that's what they're trying to tell us. Their business is really robbing the people of the country they're affiliated with through central banking. Their business isn't really world affairs. That's the only way you can read it, which to me sounds like a decent proposal.
Well, which to me sounds illegal for Americans to be there in Copenhagen, Denmark, talking policy with other people that aren't from our country, and it really pisses me off, and we need to enact the Logan Act and arrest a lot of these people. Sam, if you could wrap up on Bilderberg, let me bring up their number one point, a big number one point with you. Nuclear diplomacy and the deal with Iran currently in the making. The club, they're just a club, has long been cautious of a possible alliance between Russia, China, and Iran. The deal that would lift Western pressure from the Islamic Republic over its nuclear program would affect this possibility. Sam, what do you think?
You're going to get an argument from a lot of people, DLAKE, that says that Iran should be allowed to do this because America has nukes, or Israel has nukes. First of all, if I do something evil to DLAKE, I go over there and I break his printing press that prints his stickers. That's
hey,
evil.
Son of a bitch.
Let's say that means that somebody who's not even in DLAKE and I squabble, Kyle hears about it. Kyle hears that Sam did that to DLAKE, and
Well, you better come to my defense, Kyle.
And the DLAKE's going to do it back. So now Kyle decides that it's okay for him to break the printing press of the guy down the road because DLAKE and Sam are doing it. That's what's going on here. Because America is engaged in illegal nuke practices, because Israel is engaged in illegal nuke practices, immoral nuke practices, and unsafe nuke programs, building a nuclear power plant in an earthquake zone like Iran is, just because they're doing it, well, it's fine then. Why shouldn't North Korea do it?
I don't know. I look at it from a different perspective that if they're going to do what they're going to do, I don't think that we should intervene in their affairs. And if their affairs happen to be them wanting to obtain a nuclear device, I think that instead of spending billions and billions of dollars on diplomacy and trying to subvert their government from within and all this bullshit that we do, Why not spend all that money working on nuclear deterrence, working on Star Wars defense systems, working on ways to clear out radiation at a more rapid pace? Why not, instead of saying, hey, we're going to stop you from handling it, we're going to figure out some shit to fix it after you fuck up? Iran fucking up people's printing.
And again, Kyle, the argument would be to play devil's advocate. No, I don't believe this. But Kyle, that's what we're going to Copenhagen to talk. We're working on this, and you're picking on us. The trouble is they're not telling us if they're doing this or not. They're not telling us if they're going to do something to make the matter worse, like bomb the uranium enrichment facility, which of course will put a great giant plume of poison on
also, I mean, look at this We're looking at the macro, right? Let's look at the micro. If your neighbor came over to your house and said, "Hey, I noticed that you've been going to the gun store a lot lately. You buy some new guns?" You'd be like, "Fuck off! Like, get off my property."
Well, again, it's different. That would be more like your neighbor having a meth lab. Because if this goes bad for you, it goes bad for your block. That's the trouble with nuclear weaponry.
If your neighbor is Breaking Bad, is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, imagine being South Korea and North Korea, even if they weren't at war. Let's face it, they're not the brightest regime. Whoa!
Hey,
how do you think South Korea feels about North Korea's nuke plant? I bet they're not very happy.
Sam, you just said they're not the brightest regime. I'm not finding it really fast, but have you guys seen this picture? It's a satellite image from space of Korea at nighttime, and
yes.
South Korea is totally lit up, looks like Las Vegas, and North Korea is totally blacked out, looks like hell.
There are more lights in the smaller towns in Africa than there are the cities of North Korea, and I'm not laughing at the poverty in Africa. I'm saying that they do very well with very little. You can give $5 to someone in Africa, and they will pay. I mean, when the last penny's left, they'll be using it on things. You give $5 to someone in less industrious countries, and they're going to build a bomb with it or something. People in Africa know how to survive. They've got these little towns, and if there's 300 people in the town, 200 of them have electricity, which is a higher rate than what you find in North Korea once you adjust the percentages for the massively higher number of people, of course. It's better in Africa, in some little town that you'll never hear of.
Yeah, that is very interesting, but Africa at the same time doesn't have these perfect fake, like all of the percentage of people living well are all within the fake propaganda villages, the propaganda cities of North Korea.
Well, yeah, again, and I mean, I watched a documentary on them, not to get sidetracked from the nuke things, but trust me, I'll tie it together. There were people that were sleeping upside down, hanging on walls to avoid the lice on the floor, both in and out of prisons. The prisons are unspeakable, and you're talking about a nation that has enough to have military parades and these elaborate fan dances and all this. I mean, really, the most elaborate play you could ever see is the celebration of propaganda, whatever it's called, in Pyongyang, that Kim Jong-un goes to see. It's all over the internet. If you search it, it's beautiful. It's one of the most choreographed acts in the world. But again, that's not what North Korea is. It is a brutal place where if you say the wrong thing and it's even perceived the wrong way, you and 3 generations of your family go to prison to rot. And this is a country that spends millions on their nuke plants. And this isn't what Bilderberg's going to be talking about. Bilderberg's going to be talking about how to exploit the situation. They're going to be talking about bombing Iran, but you don't see them bombing the nuke plant and I don't want them to, in North Korea, because that's going to affect the South. It's going to affect Japan.
And because they already have it. That's the big difference. We have Don from America's Liberty chiming in, calling Bilderberg the builder turds, and then saying, I believe Iran has every right to protect themselves. The terrorist state next door of nuclear weapons and threaten to use them, which obviously is talking about Israel, and we know that Don is very much not a fan of Israel.
Which is fine, but the trouble with this mentality is, and there's 2 differences here. First of all, Israel has never talked about using its neighbors unless they were losing it against their neighbors unless they were attacked, and I'm willing to stand by that. It's only if they are attacked.
But you were talking about North Korean propaganda. You want to talk about propaganda? Go into an Israeli school and hear what they say about Palestinians.
Which is also and they do the same thing on both sides, unfortunately. But Iran has threatened to destroy its neighbors in jihad, and destroy its enemies in jihad, I should say. Most recently, the U.S. When you don't have two factions of Judaism fighting to create terror among each other. That's the second difference. You can have someone in Islam.
The Zionist group that.
No, but they're not creating mass bombings among each other in their own religion. There are people that want to bomb the power plant in Iran because they are the wrong kind of Islam. It doesn't even include the Jews. You could pretend the Jews don't even exist. Now you've got the wrong side of Islam wanting to bomb the other side's nuclear power plant. That's like the Catholics wanting to bomb a Protestant nuke plant. You don't see that in other places. And if I had to add a third, Israel is, while they do have earthquakes there, they are not in a seismically active region like Iran is, and like it circles out. If you can see me on the screen at all,
I can't help but feel like
out.
If we butted out of that entire area of the world, stopped giving any foreign aid, stopped trying to do our diplomacy down there, I feel like we really wouldn't have to worry about this because they both bomb each other into the Stone Age, and then neither of them would be able to have nuclear.
Yeah, but the trouble comes in there. Then that's when that affects the rest of the world. That's when their nuclear war affects the food supply that's going into China, into Russia, into India. And people say that doesn't matter to us. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. It matters when you're a mom and dad car shop and you're working on a car in the back of your freaking house and you bought a new brake pads for your Japanese car. And if you ran a Geiger counter over it, there's a real good chance that you're going to find out that it's a rather higher radioactive content than other parts. How many have gotten into the country that haven't been caught? We don't really know, but we do know that we have had to send back multiple shipments of car parts to Japan. That's 4 nuclear meltdowns, melt-throughs, melt-outs, whatever you want to call them. A massive nuclear, every nuclear disaster, whether it's a war or a meltdown, is an issue for the world and its neighbors. And I think in that regard, that is why it would matter. Do I think we should butt out? Yes, we do. But I am saying that there are repercussions for that, much different. How many people listening to me eat seafood? How many of you know that you shouldn't be now? If you are, it better be privately grown, and you got to watch your mercury if that happens. Or at the very least, has to come from the Atlantic Ocean, and there's questions there regarding nuke plants on our East Coast. So it matters really big.
But I mean, that message is getting out. I mean, I heard a podcaster recently who's not political whatsoever. I was just talking to DLAKE about it. Allison Rosen is your new best friend on Corolla Digital. Not a political show. Really entertainment. But Allison Rosen was talking about being scared to eat fish because of Fukushima, and she said, "I don't want to sound like a conspiracy theorist or like somebody who's like being like extreme about their views." And like one of the other guys on the show is like, "That's not extreme. That's reasonable."
Yeah.
Right. I've actually been a little bit afraid, you know, for over a year now, going on 2 years. Haven't really been eating fish, and you know, Sam's one of the people convincing me of that with his massive Fukushima reports. Sam, it sounds like you got a little bit of staticky sound going on coming through your channel there, buddy. If you could take a look at that, if there's anything operating near your mic.
I'm going to jump off and jump right back on. I will be right back.
And also, I just wanted to point out that we just took a question there from Dawn, who I'm sure at Save America's Liberty is excited that the Q&A is back up today since Kyle's hosting the show and DLAKE didn't mess it up like I have been the past couple weeks and on my own personal show, Welcome to the War. But if you guys have any more questions, shoot them in. Kyle, do we have any more Q&A?
We got a little bit of talk randomly.
Well, what do we have?
We got AJ chiming in Hell's Bells. I think that was just like right as we started. They were trying to figure out how to talk to each other outside of the chat.
Do you want to maybe bring AJ in or send any of these guys the links?
Yeah, we'll send AJ the link in a few minutes. I want to get to one more story first.
Great, Kyle. What do you have?
Well, I wanted to talk about somebody hit us up on Twitter and gave us a little bit of a here, I'm pulling up my screen share. They gave us a little bit of a tip. Let me get this set up really quickly. They were telling us about, there's this article that this guy sent me. Here, let me pull up the pictures. These are pictures from an article from dating back. It's been updated throughout the years. It started in, I believe, 1999, and it's labeled UN Vehicles Stockpiling in Texas. 650 plus UN vehicles and photos from Bastrop Federal Penitentiary, I believe, is 10. And if you look at these pictures, I guess these are all UN vehicles being stockpiled in Texas. It's been going on since, I believe, 1999 is when they really started. See 2003, original report from 1999. There's those pictures again. And he messaged me saying, all right, well, here's the original report. And
blow up that bottom picture. And Sam, if you can mute, we're still getting a lot of staticky sound out of your channel.
All right. I have no idea why that would be. I'm muting now. Let me know when you need it.
Cool.
Yeah, let me open this image in a new tab and see if I can enlarge it for you. Yeah, I mean, that's a huge stockpile. That looks like an airport parking lot, except for everybody is driving Sam vans. But this picture is from 1999, which it's like, all right, well, that's a while ago. They're not there anymore, probably, right? And what he's telling me is that they very much are still there, and he sent me this other picture here, which this is from Wednesday. And you can see that on the screen. Let me enlarge it a little bit.
You can see the UN logo on there.
Yeah, clear as day. And I think, I don't know, I might be wrong, I believe that he took these pictures. His name is Larry Harmon, at Larry_L Harmon on Twitter. He sent us these pictures. I'm just giving him credit because I saw this right
before.
Well,
yeah, hey, let's give Larry Harmon some credit, and thanks for sending it to the Media Speaks. I mean, he knew that we're the types to get it out there and talk about it. Kyle, talk about it a little bit more. And Sam, what do you think?
I would say the defense that they're probably going to use for this is, well, if you don't drive the vehicles a certain amount, then as anybody knows that's ever had a car sit where they're trying to fix it, it's probably not going to run at all. The question is, why are they there? Can we find anything on the internet leading to a convincing reason that they would be there? Because I'd like to know what FEMA's for if we need to rely on the UN so much. And I'm going to mute out again while you answer that so I don't keep fuzzing you.
Well, here, let me... There's a little bit to read on this article. Let's go to the original from 1999. Here we go. From busy Highway 95 in Bastrop County, Texas, lies a growing fleet of nearly 1,000 showroom new SUVs, four-wheel drive pickups, Suburbans, and vans. These vehicles are not overflow storage for an overstocked dealer. This fleet is owned by the federal government. All the vehicles are UN white. Rumors have been floating in the area for months about the fleet of suspicious vehicles being outfitted with prisoner cages, shackles, and insignia such as and the UN Roundel. None of these vehicles observed in the storage area appeared to have any markings at all other than window stickers with equipment data. However, prison officials did confirm that the SUVs and vans were in fact being fitted with prisoner cages and shackles. When pressed for information on the intended users of these vehicles, a prison spokesperson said they were intended for immigration and naturalization services. However, vehicles assigned to the INS are predominantly painted green, and those assigned to the Border Patrol are usually the same. The suitability of a high-visibility color such as white for either agency is in question. Large white vehicles can be seen approaching from miles away. This $30 million fleet of unused government vehicles has been steadily growing but has not been deployed. It seems the vehicles keep coming in, but none go out to user agencies. This full of top-of-the-line utility vehicles bought by the taxpayers is sitting idle, soaking up the Texas sun. So it looks like they don't really know. Let's see the update on 2003. Dear Sterling, just thought I'd tell you that the debunk on the Bash Strip, I hope I'm not saying that wrong, vehicles was a lie. I personally know that one that has been there recently, and the vehicles are in the process of being outfitted with UN markings now. They were half finished when the so.
Yeah, that's getting into the comments page portion of the page there, Kyle. Look at my screen share. I just put in UN vehicles stored in the U.S. and there's all these aerial footage shots, of massive parking lots filled with these white vehicles, and just like that picture that you showed before, they're all white, being marked with UN in black, not green border patrol symbols.
That there's also
yeah.
Now, DLAKE and Kyle, since I'm getting a buzz, I'll let you guys go ahead and explain it. I'm sure you'll go with it. We've got people listening, I'm sure, in one of the places that this video is going to get to. Well, we're a member of the UN. Why shouldn't they be here? Explain the dangers of having that there. Granted, we already know the ways they can help us. We just talked about a nuclear meltdown. That's one way they can help us. Opening up a road and being on it to haul people away to safety. Of course.
Yeah, that's
good point, Sam. But our sovereignty and our American laws dictate that we don't need their GD help.
Exactly. Go with it, DLAKE.
Really?
Yeah, we don't need the UN. We don't need to be a part of it. Obama serving on the Security Council is against our constitutional laws. I mean, it's ridiculous.
We have Don chiming in.
We don't need Bilderberg. We don't need relations. We don't need the Trilateral Commission or the United Nations. I'm all for isolationism, and the more intervention that you do over there in Iran and the Ukraine and the Middle East and fucking with Russia and China, the more we need to isolate. Build giant walls and keep everyone else out. Make our shit the best, and that's how it should be. DLAKE for President, MediaSpeaks.com.
Don has been saying this. I've been trying to get this comment out. Are we ready now? Are you guys cool? Can I read the comment?
Bring it on.
It's gonna happen. All right, you sure?
I'm ready.
Positive. Okay. Don was saying that there's thousands of them in Florida, so if anybody out there listening has seen these, definitely tweet pictures at the Media Speaks. Don says that there's thousands in Florida. I'm sure that there's thousands in other places, but the question is, really, to me, if you could make the argument for these UN vehicles if they didn't have shackles inside of them and giant cages to hold people. That's the part that gets to me.
And the nearest guillotine underground bunker on their GPS, and like FEMA camps are already on their GPS locators to where to take you.
Is my buzz gone, DLAKE?
No, you're still on the first microphone ever made by Thomas Edison.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, it sounds like you're coming through on Alexander Graham Bell's first phone.
Yeah, that's the shortwave portion of the show when Sam talks. All right, so and again, thanks to, what was his name, Larry? Yeah, thanks to Larry Harmon for sending us those pictures. If anybody,
Larry Harmon, thanks, buddy. And he seems like a really smart guy since he sent it to the Media Speaks, in my opinion.
I mean, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
How about now?
And
Good try, Sam. Is someone operating another piece of equipment near your microphone?
My fiance has had her computer on. She was playing a game. She shut the game off. Now she shut the computer off.
Don is chiming in again, saying blue helmets make easy headshots. What game was she playing?
Well, see, the trouble is, while we don't trust FEMA, and I can see why nobody would want to. While we don't trust FEMA, America has a system in place to deal with things like nuclear accidents, major earthquakes, whatever. You don't got to tell me how bad FEMA is. I already know. What I'm saying is, you can make the argument that FEMA is an American institution. We don't need the United Nations here. Now, other people say the militia should handle it. Whatever. Depending on if you have enough militia members, I'm not against the idea. It's not that I distrust the militia. I trust them. There just aren't enough of them. I'm not saying I'm a great FEMA lover. I'm saying I would want a FEMA van if Electro Pulse went off and someone had to get me out of the state. Someone's got to do it. But
Shackles?
And again, I would rather a more libertarian society where we didn't need the federal government doing it. But that's not the can of worms I want to open. What I want to say, and that's Kyle opening a can of worms, but what I want to say is, beyond anything, we don't need the mass of other countries coming into our country to rescue us. It's ridiculous that they would be there, and I think that's the uneasy feeling people get in their stomach with that, is that why are other countries' vehicles on our soil to protect us? Protect us from what?
Well, it certainly doesn't help.
What is it we can't handle ourselves?
Well, it certainly doesn't help, Sam, when President Obama makes contradictory statements about our foreign policy, where it's like, oh, we need to lead and be the #1 best, but we also need to just cooperate with NATO and do whatever they say, and the United Nations, and lead the Security Council, and let the blue helmets come invade while they stockpile their white vehicles on our the property of our country, and that should just not be allowed.
Well said, DLAKE. Well said.
I think we all agree on that. DLAKE, can you send a link out? Let's get AJ in, because we're going to play some Who Done Said It soon. And while you're doing that, DLAKE, Sam, how about we do some Science Front?
I am ready.
All right, well.
It's time to learn some science. So here's Sam with the Science Front.
Greetings, unsettled souls. It is time for news from the Science Front, and this today from CNET.com. DLAKE is going to be excited about this, and I know he's a big fan of all things science fiction. I may be even more excited about it, being such a big fan of all things alien. Suspended animation trials to begin on humans. Knife and gunshot wound victims will be placed in suspended animation as the first human trials begin on this emergency life-saving technique. They say no news is good news, and we've just talked about meltdowns and UN vehicles on American soil. We got some good news for everyone. This month, the world's first attempts at placing humans in suspended animation using a new technique will take place at the UPMC Presbyterian Hospital in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, not for space travel, but to save lives. And again, NASA has tinkered with this, and people say, well, it's not going to help the rest of the world. NASA can't even use it yet, and the rest of the world's about to be using it. So I hate that argument. It has just been disproven. The technique will initially be used on 10 patients whose wounds would otherwise be lethal in an attempt to buy surgeons some more time. It works as suggested by science fiction by cooling the body, but not by applying an external temperature change. Instead, can you say burr? A team of surgeons will remove all of the patient's blood, replacing it with a cold saline solution. This will cool the body, slowing the functions to a halt and reducing the need for oxygen. Effects similar to this have been seen in accidents. Swedish Anna Bangenholm survived trapped under a layer of ice and freezing water for 80 minutes in a skiing accident. She must ski as well as I snowboard. Japanese Mitsutaka yeah, I'm great with foreign languages.
That's exactly how you pronounce it.
Yukakoshi survived 24 days without food or water by entering a state of hypothermic hibernation. It says we are suspending life, but we don't like to call it suspended animation because that sounds like science fiction. Dr. Samuel Tischerman, the surgeon who will lead the trial, told New Scientist, we call it emergency preservation and resuscitation. The technique was developed by Dr. Peter Rennie, who successfully managed to test it on pigs in the year 2000. In 2006, Dr. Ree and his colleagues published the effects of their subsequent research. After inducing fatal wounds in the pigs by cutting their arteries with scalpels, the team replaced the pig's blood with saline, which lowered their body temperature to 10 degrees Celsius. All the control pigs whose body temperature was left alone died. The pigs who were warmed back at a medium speed demonstrated a 90% survival rate, although some of their hearts had to be given a jump start. The pigs that were warmed up slowly and fast had a 50 and 30% survival rate, respectively. Afterwards, the pigs demonstrated no physical or cognitive impairment, so they can get around and think as well as they ever could. The technique, therefore, will only be used as an emergency measure on patients who have suffered cardiac arrest after severe traumatic injury, with their chest cavity open and having lost at least half of their blood already. So they're not just like Nazi testing this on people. They are doing this every step of the way that all of us have liked to see science go. This is just great news. I want to finish this out. It says injuries that they see at only 7% survival rate for. So they're only doing this on people that have a 7% chance of beating it if they don't do it. The survival rate of these patients will then be measured against a control group that has not received the treatment before further testing begin. You'd be really mad if you were the family member of somebody who this didn't get tried on. It's not science fiction yet. The human body can only be placed under these conditions for a maximum of a few hours. So no going to distant stars yet.
Aww.
But even if it raises the survival rate just a little, it will be a massive step forward. I have been delighted. I found that and was looking forward to bringing that to everyone. Guys, that's your news from the science front.
We
got you some good news this time.
Definitely, Sam. But we gotta work out making it last longer so we can go to alien planets and all
I know we do. I absolutely. We're also gonna find anyone like Christella if I don't go to an alien planet.
How much would that freak you out? Like you get your legs bitten off by a shark or something, and you're bleeding out. And you're like, oh god, and you look at the doctor. You're like, am I gonna make it out? He's like, I don't know. We're gonna freeze you. Like, fuck.
Oh, shit.
I'm already freezing.
Okay, yeah, well, so suspended animation for a couple of hours if it's, hey, we're waiting on the transplant. The transplant's not here yet. It's going to be here in 45 minutes. Freeze his ass!
Yep.
This reminds me of the Wrath of Khan, too. What if we freeze a ton of evil super people?
Oh, man, I just watched...
No, that's it. Dianne Feinstein and Barack Obama. I'm never going to let you freeze them, Kyle.
Well, I just watched Into the Darkness last weekend, Kyle. I finally watched it. I thought it was pretty good. They could have made Khan a little more badass after we knew he was Khan, but that was my one criticism.
I thought it was good. I don't know. I think he played a part. He was all right. So looks like we got AJ.
Do not speak ill of my favorite Star Trek movie. I love that movie.
Yeah, hey, I love Into Darkness. Into Darkness is my favorite.
It wasn't as good as the first one, but it was damn good. I thought it was good.
Right.
I was cool with it.
I know. I watched it on Netflix, and now I'm like, they're like, hey, want to go back and watch Wrath of Khan? I'm like, oh man, I haven't watched that in so long. Yeah, I'm gonna watch
it on VHS. I think.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna watch that this weekend.
A good movie.
I might watch Machete Kills, but it's a little early for entertainment.
So, we got AJ here. AJ, how are you doing today?
It's another day, man. Living the dream.
Definitely. You mentioned, didn't you say you had something sciencey that you wanted to talk to since we're coming to the end of the science front?
Yeah, actually, I got this article on Time. If I knew how to screen share, I would. But I mean, anybody listening to this can look it up. It's magic mushrooms. This is the headline: is magic mushrooms can improve psychological health long term.
Let me say before he continues, I had seen this. Go. This is one of the news from the science front that I was going to do on my show next week. It was an update to the one that I had done prior. I'm so happy you're doing it. Go. It is
AJ.
It is not the same one that I had on my show prior. This is a newer study. I wanted to mention that. Go ahead.
Yeah, AJ, you eat a lot of psychedelic mushrooms, so you know about this news. Let's hear it.
Yeah, the psychedelic drugs and magic mushrooms may have lasting medical and spiritual benefits, according to new research from Johns Hopkins School of Medicine. The mushroom-derived hallucinogen called psilocybin is known to trigger transformative spiritual states, but at high doses it can also result in bad trips marked by terror and panic. The trick is to get the dose just right, which the Johns Hopkins researchers report having accomplished. My argument to that is that if you for instance, not my last trip, but my trip before last, I wasn't ready for it. Like, I had maybe a quarter, and then, like, I was like, well, this quarter ain't doing anything. And then, like, I ate the other quarter, and I'm in my freaking kitchen, you know, about to cook a fucking pizza.
You gotta wait. You gotta wait like 30, 45 minutes, sometimes even an hour.
Well, I mean, I did. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Well, I was. Well, see, I did it on an empty stomach, and I drank orange juice to help. Yeah, to help it stick. But I'm in my kitchen and I'm cooking. I'm about to cook a pizza, and I pull it out. I pull the pizza out of the box, and then I start feeling it come on, and I'm like, nope. I throw the pizza back in the. I throw the pizza back in the oven. It's not that it's too much. It's what are you ready for? Like, are you really ready for a?
Okay, this is your personal trip here, AJ. How does it relate to the news?
Well, what I'm saying is that the Hopkins scientists said that too much can cause a bad trip, and it's not that too much would cause a bad trip. It's that you need to be ready to
heroic dose. You need to be ready. You need to
you can't just take 7 grams and not expect to be shown something. I guess you could say, like, you can't be scared. Like,
what if we combine that with acid or maybe something else? Kyle, do you have the article right there? What is it saying?
Well, he read a good portion of the beginning of it. Let's see. The most important point is that we have found that the sweet spot where we can optimize the positive persistent effects and avoid some of the fear and anxiety that can occur and can be quite disruptive, says lead author Rowland Griffiths, professor of behavioral biology at Hopkins, which I have to disagree with that, because I'm going to kind of go with AJ that when you're doing what is commonly referred to as a heroic dose, it does freak you out. And that freak out for most people, in my experience, from people that I've talked to, is when people do way too many shrooms, you might say, you start thinking of, it's the same thing as when you eat edible marijuana. If you eat like weed brownies or weed butter and you eat way too much of it, it has a hallucinogenic effect because there's a chemical inside of marijuana that gets burned off when you smoke it. You ingest it, and it gives you that hallucinogenic. That's why people, going on a tangent a little bit, that's why people go, marijuana isn't a hallucinogen. Yes, it is, but only if you eat it. And the same thing happens, that you do get this super paranoid effect. But what happens, from what I've heard from most of the people I've talked to, and AJ, you can maybe comment on this, is that paranoia is every bad fucking thing, every bad thought, every malicious piece of behavior in your body. Everything about you that you avoid and that you're embarrassed about and that you don't want to admit is a part of you is thrown in your face. And it's the medicine telling you, hey, these are the things that are fucked up about you, and you're going to feel bad about them, and you should feel bad about them. And that's what we refer to as a bad trip. I think that's a good trip. That's kind of the desired result, because when you have all that thrown back in your face, you come out of that trip a better person. I mean, how many people have seen where they go through this horrible trip, they're sitting in their bed crying, watching Pirates of Silicon Valley on YouTube, and the next day they're a much better person.
Well, yeah, I mean, it sounds like this study is saying don't take too little, but don't take too much. Find the reasonable balance for you where you can go to that place, not be too tripped out, but still have a good time. And, you know, if there's super awesome music playing and a bunch of half-naked chicks dancing around you, I mean, I don't see how that could be all that wrong. And if you have an epiphany or if you see a vision from God, well, good for you. It's always fun to experiment with water or the mirror or
I would also say too, it depends on your mindset going into it to begin with.
Exactly, and you have to have a strong.
That's what I was getting at.
If you've already decided that, you know, you're not going to let any external thing cause you any grief for the next 12 hours.
You should be in a good place before you take it, Sam.
It's not a drug you take when a loved one dies. It's not that kind of thing.
But it's
good point, Sam. Good point.
Peace is achieved through pain, and some of that pain that you feel on a heroic dose, is necessary to your being. It's throwing your entire personality in your face, and you come out of it a more rational, self-realized human being. And I've only seen it work to the benefit for people. The people that...
And AJ, is that why they call it a trip? Because essentially you take a trip somewhere.
Yeah.
When you come back, you tell people, "Oh, Paris was beautiful, and I took all these pictures, and it was great." I mean, in relation to that, right? I mean, do you agree?
Right. Yeah. No. Yeah. I definitely agree. You definitely, you start in between. You go in between the spaces between space and time. And,
I've been there before, AJ.
You know what
I hear what you're saying.
You know what it is? It is a trip. It's like taking a trip to like Cancun, Mexico, right? And it starts out awesome and great and it's beautiful and there's beaches, but then you take the bus 3 stops too far into real Mexico and you get and then you come back to your beautiful beaches and sunlight with a new appreciation. That's
Kyle, if you could consolidate and make this conversation appropriate for Google Plus in just like briefly before we play a game, could you do that? Just so people don't get the wrong idea. We're not promoting like that you go out and eat mushrooms right now. Could you do that?
No, yeah, we're not saying that you should go out and just anybody should eat mushrooms. There's a lot of people I've met who should never eat mushrooms, and I've been open about it. I've said it before. I tried them once, and I will never in my life do them again. Horrible. It was bad, but like I said, having all those horrible thoughts about yourself ruminate in your head makes you it imprints on you that you never want to feel that bad again. And how do you never feel that bad again? By changing yourself and becoming a better person, and by not taking mushrooms anymore. But that one time, I still look at it as a horribly, horribly, terrible positive experience, if that makes any sense. It was necessary. And I've heard that from a lot of people with mushrooms and, ayahuasca trips in Peru, DMT experiences like we talked about.
If I could, just real quick, I got a study in here somewhere in my binder. It's the ayahuasca dude in Peru that he's hosting a rehabilitation clinic, and
there's a lot of them.
Yeah, he's he's taking people that were addicted to heroin and things like that. And
people with PTSD, people who are addicted to different drugs, alcoholics. Yeah,
and
it throws it in your face and it makes you it forces you to realize past your ego who you are and that you can change.
Right. Well, if I could just real quick, Graham Hancock, the War on Consciousness, his TED speech was really it's it was something. It's something worth listening to, or something worth watching.
Let's let Graham Hancock give a TED talk. Probably got fired.
It was banned actually. The TED took his video out for a minute.
Bastards.
It's one of the banned TED Talks, which is how I ended up finding it.
Some of those are great, but I have to call bullshit that there's a lot of banned TED Talks. Like, if they don't like what you say, they just fucking pull it and pretend they never had anything to do with it.
Yeah, thanks for the invite and the ban, a-holes.
Right, exactly. Thanks for making me come all the way out here to work to work for a week straight for 30 minutes that you're not going to give me.
Can you come out and talk for 30 minutes in a speech that no one's ever going to see unless they research banned TED Talks on YouTube? Which sounds like AJ did, tripping on mushrooms.
We got Don from Save America's Liberty chiming in. DMT is the meat god drug, which my favorite way, which I've never done DMT. I think I'm scared to death to do it, but the way that Joe Rogan explains it is mushrooms times 1,000 plus aliens.
Yeah, pretty much. You really do. Really do go.
We mentioned earlier that like AJ was like, oh, I don't know if the half quarter was working, so I decided to take some more. If you smoke DMT, you're gonna know in about 5 seconds because
it's like
blasting off on an acid. It's like blasting off on an acid mushroom trip in about 10 seconds. Then God's right there, and then you're like, what's up? And you feel like you're dead, and it's really weird. And I don't know how I know all that, but I do.
Don is chiming in again. If you want a powerful trip, keep the spores and use the same bag over and over. Once you have a good bit of the leftovers, watch the hell out. And my thought is,
Spores, anything doesn't sound healthy.
would you ever take Don as the type of dude to be like an expert on silicon?
That's what I was just thinking. I was like, this dude just blew my mind.
Honestly, I've said it on the show.
I'm inviting him in for the game.
All right.
I absolutely have no concerns with. I mean, I've said openly, I've done them before. People have said, "Well, you were going to run for the Ohio House. Doesn't that bother you?" Look, I got tattoos. I'm in a band. They're going to figure it out. I already said what I was going to do. And Kyle, I think a lot of people that would listen to this who have never done any drugs at all, of which I only do marijuana and occasionally shrooms, for anyone wondering. I would be willing to say that from the moment I sign my name to run to the moment I'm out of office, I won't touch any drug other than alcohol or whatever is prescribed to me.
No, you see, I wanna see in a presidential debate. You know, they ask them all like, "Have you ever had an experience with psilocybin mushrooms?" And you know, they go to Hillary Clinton and she goes, "Well, as much as I was an activist in the 19th," and does her politician voice, and then they go to Mitt Romney. He's like, "Well, I'm a strong believer," and they all do their politician voice and they all deny it. I wanted to go to just one dude who's just like, "All right, yeah, I tried shrooms a few times."
Right.
I mean, again,
what difference does it make?
People say, "Well, I don't want my congressman on what." All right, fine. I won't touch a thing. Well, I have no problem with that. I'm working for the people, so I don't mind that.
I
will say this: I've always.
What difference does it make?
To me, the reason I started the comment was, and then Kyle took a little of the thunder. If one of them said he used it, good, because you're somebody. That says to me you are somebody that is, for one thing, of stable mind. Because anybody who's listening to this who could be schizophrenic, it could be real bad for you. It's a different conversation for you. Don't do it. But it means that you're not tied into one way of thinking. You're not drugged out of your mind all the time. It's not the kind of drug that says that to someone that knows anything about drugs. I would be more inclined to give that person a shot, knowing that they were a person who wasn't just tied into the money and the college to get where he was in the job. He had time to be a person too, and that matters depending on what you're signing. It matters a lot depending on what you're signing. And I'm going to mute out again because I don't know if my mic's still doing it.
I can picture like the senator in whatever interview running for president. Have you ever experimented with drugs? Now, I am a very professional politician, but I want to be honest with you and with the American people. When I was in high school, I would smoke a lot of marijuana, and I would have sexual relations with my girlfriend at the time. I would watch Beavis and Butthead and old episodes of The Simpsons. That's what I would do.
Shazam!
If I could get some really hot interns up in here, that'd be fucking excellent.
Space Jam is a great movie when you are high on marijuana.
Nobody ever asked Ronald Reagan if he did coke or any drugs, but he was friends with the Rat Pack. Come on now. That would be as stupid as me trying to run for something, being in a band since I was 19 and saying I never tried shrooms.
It would just be like, all right, you guys keep talking. I'm going to grab a beer. Are we getting Don in?
Excellent. Yeah, I sent Don the link. We'll see if we can get him in here for the show. Kyle, go do what you got to do. And can I bring this up while I have AJ and Sam on the show? Just yesterday, Dinesh D'Souza says America, or he's the author of the new book, America, and he warns that Hillary Clinton will finish off the country. In his highly anticipated new book and movie, America, conservative author Dinesh D'Souza is warning that Hillary Clinton won't be a clone of her moderate husband, and I suppose he'll be the new First Lady, but will instead take the baton from President Obama. Hey, pass the baton. She talks about that. To continue radicalizing the country and, quote, undo the nation's founding ideals. quote, America, imagine a world without her. Oh, okay, that's the name. That's the full name of the book. America, tagline, imagine a world without her. Published by Regenerary something. And set for release on Monday. Charges that as students of radical organizer Sal Alinsky, both President Obama and Hillary Clinton, who I could show you a bunch of pictures of them cavorting and kissing and sitting at picnic tables, they're both huge fans of Sal David Alinsky. He was an American community organizer, oh, where have we heard that before, and writer. He is generally considered to be the founder of modern community organizing. He is often noted for his book, Rules for Radicals, that both Hillary and Barack Obama follow. If they succeed, there may be no going back. Then it will be their America, not ours. And we will be a people bereft of a country with no place to go, he adds on page 87. It looks like we're joined by Dawn from Save America's Liberty. I don't know how much of that you just heard because I was on a different page. Sam, AJ, do you think that Hillary Clinton will carry Barack's baton and finish off the country if she has 4 to 8 years as president? The first female president with Bill Clinton as the first lady. What do you guys think?
If I could, what difference does it? What difference does it make? People know how to research. People know how to read. People are talking. What difference does it make? She could try her best, but in all honesty, I think she'll fail.
Yeah, I don't think you can go into anything just as the already anticipated. You just think it just what's the word I'm looking for? You just already appointed or anointed. You're already the leader.
No, DLAKE. No, DLAKE, you're forgetting the momentum the second Bush had going in. Everybody knew he was going to get it, and he did. The trouble is, and this is why I would like
interesting
to see,
point.
This is why I'd like to see Hillary gone so bad, is because she has the popularity of Clinton, who was an extremely good speaker. I think he was one of the worst presidents we've ever had. Chinagate alone was far worse for the country than what Benedict Arnold did. But he might have, I'll be real, he's one of the best speakers you're ever going to hear. Plain and simple, Bill Clinton is an amazing speaker.
And he plays the mean saxophone and gets those jobs.
I'm going to take the Oval Office.
Oh my God!
For your ear.
I would like to see her gone because it would make it would make the other people, which is I think what AJ was alluding to. It'll make the other terrible people come to the forefront. But unless it's Chelsea, they won't have that wonderful Clinton name.
The daughter of Will Hubble. Don, did you have anything to say about this?
I got something, but it's on the subject before.
Go ahead.
What people really need to understand is the really dangerous and addictive drugs are opioids.
Yes.
Those are not toys. You don't play with them like marijuana and mushrooms and all that stuff.
And where do all those opiates come from, Don? Don, where are all those opiates coming from? Afghanistan, I believe, but what do you think?
Well, it started really with the doctors prescribing very heavily oxycodone and hydrocodone, stuff like that, and then the heroin came in from Afghanistan, which I believe the government's bringing it in themselves.
Well, they started even further before that, before even prescriptions with Bayer. Pretty much Bayer heroin was the thing in like the 1920s and 30s. You could go buy it like you buy aspirin. And a lot of moms back in the day, you know, housewives who didn't have careers, weren't educated, were pretty much there just to pop out babies and clean dishes, would just fucking get stoned on heroin all day.
I'll tell you that stuff is highly addictive. I fought a 10-year battle to get away from it.
I'll tell you what, for anyone listening, everyone knows I'm all for do whatever you want. I agree here. Yeah, avoid those like the plague. Never have done them. I've always said that if I had some horrible disease where I was in nothing but pain, I would use it specifically because I know it would kill me. Avoid it. Get away! Yeah, do not mess with those. I've got.
If I could, just real quick. I mean, yeah, don't mess with the chemically addicting stuff. I mean, for serious. Like, I'm fighting my own battle as well. But I really appreciate Don. I'm nicknaming you Don Knotts, man. Like, and it's crazy. It's crazy that you say that you're fighting that battle. At the same time, you have exquisite knowledge of hallucinogenics.
Yeah, I've done about everything. You know, and I got, you know, when I approached his painkillers, my buddy had them. I looked at them as any other drug. You know, I've snorted coke. I think the only time you're addicted to coke is when you're doing it.
Right. No, yeah, I'll be honest. I haven't told anybody this really before, especially on air. I used to, when I was in high school, man, I fucking loved those oxys. You could get them like fucking candy. Everybody had them. And I fucked around with them a little bit, and I literally, when I was like 17, I told myself, this is too good, and you need to stop, or you're going to really, really go down a fucking bad path. So I just stopped. I was like, I could see that it was something that if I want to do this bad and I see what happens to people, like I remember a kid that I knew, I would eat them, you know, I'd eat an Oxycontin or two, and it was fun, made you feel awesome, and a kid started snorting them, and he showed me a bloody dollar bill, and I'm like, I'm out of it. No, I'm not going down that fucking road.
No, the opioid-based medicines and drugs are the devil's dandruff.
The devil's dandruff?
Yeah.
All right, well...
good one, never heard that.
I think we've made it clear. All of us are pretty libertarian people. Do whatever you want. We're not going to tell you we don't think it should be illegal. We don't think you should be banned from doing it, but if you do it, you are dumb.
And don't do bath salts and chew anybody. Don't do bath salts and chew anybody's face off. Nobody wants that.
Don't in the street naked. All right, are you guys ready for some Who Done Said It?
I'm gonna wreck this show, bro. Come on.
Oh yeah. Who done said it? Who said the quote? Who said the quote?
Millie's Best Ice.
Who done said it? Who said the quote? Who said the quote? I don't know. Who done said it? Who said the quote? Who said the quote? I don't know.
I'm terrified of this because Kyle was already. We were talking off air last night, and he said that he was looking forward to it greatly. And I said something that gave him a terrible idea right after I got the new vehicle.
Whenever I say I have a good idea, it's usually not a good thing.
He said who done said it, and I remember going to sleep. Like I was up for like 27 hours dealing with getting this car, and as I was drifting to sleep, I thought, what crazy thing does Kyle have?
All right, I got my Limerita. I see AJ's got a Millie's Best over there.
What? What are you talking about? I don't drink. I'm on house arrest. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh really? Oh, that must have been grape drink then.
No, it's that orange drink.
It's good stuff. All right, so are you guys?
What are we looking at?
All right, you ready? The first candidate for Who Done Said It today. Roger Moore. Roger Moore, who played James Bond.
My favorite Bond. That's my favorite Bond.
Yes, absolutely.
Great Bond. He's my favorite as well, especially when he was younger. So Roger Moore, everybody's familiar with who he is. Okay, next one. Mr. Rogers.
Mr. Rogers.
Hell yes.
All right, I think we're all familiar with Mr. Rogers. Fred McFeely Rogers, I believe.
He was my other favorite Bond.
That's good stuff. All right. Can anybody guess who the last person is going to be?
Elliot Roger.
Bob Ross.
It's Elliot Rogers. All right.
Point for
DLAKE.
DLAKE.
Oh, that DLAKE, can you keep score for me?
I got it right here, buddy.
You got it. I forgot to get my paper.
Roger Moore, Mr. Rogers, or Elliot Roger?
Indeed. All right. Are you ready for the first quote?
Roger, Roger.
People having a high opinion of me is what I've always wanted in life. It has always been of the utmost importance. Why don't you go first, Sam?
Who's Elliot Roger?
Elliot Roger is that kid.
The Santa Barbara shooter whose video we watched last week and got 3,000 views.
No, I know what you mean. Never mind. I was like, wait a minute. Yeah, gotcha. Lovely.
Just rolling in the hate.
Question again.
Where you were
Sam,
at?
you're first. What do you think?
I'm actually going to try this time.
You want the quote again, or?
Yeah, give me the quote again.
Yeah,
I
Don,
was
you can't
thinking
just keep saying,
celebrities. I completely, luckily forgot the little prick's name. Okay.
Don can't keep saying David Icke this week.
People having a high opinion of me is what I've always wanted in life. It has always been of the utmost importance. Sam, what do you think?
Oh, I'll go with Elliot.
Going Elliot. How about you, AJ?
Yeah, that's Elliot.
That sounds like
The trouble is, it all depends on how it's said. It could be said in a way that isn't crappy. You don't know how it was said. That's what's fun about the game.
yeah.
Right, yeah. I'm thinking that this dude wanted to be glorified, so anyway, Elliot.
Elliot. All right. DLAKE, what are you thinking?
Roger Moore.
You think that's
Very,
Roger?
very tough to pull off James Bond. I think it was said in that context. Roger Moore.
Ooh.
There's you'll see. All right. So you're going Roger Moore, and Don, what are you thinking?
I'm going with Elliot too.
You're going with Elliot. All right. It was Elliot Roger.
I thought that it said it when I watched that later that day.
All right.
I'm going to say the ninja sharpshooter car driver guy.
Roger Moore.
Yeah.
That's wait. That could be any of them. Okay.
Who drove a BMW better?
Hey, I got a quick question, if that's all right.
Motherfucker. Yeah.
How does the point system work again? Like, okay,
I
I
just
score
got
a
1
point.
point, AJ.
You get
Okay, I have 6 points because of the 5 points from my last game. But
No.
anyway.
you get 1 point for a correct answer. If you all guess wrong, I get 2 points, and if you all guess right, I lose a point.
Okay, all right. I was wondering if I lost a point.
Which actually makes it harder with this many people, but you guys all just said Elliot Roger. If I would have said that, Kyle would have actually. Well, he has to have points to lose them, but Kyle, go ahead.
All right. I've learned a lot through life, I've learned that through life, you just get on with it. You're going to meet a lot of dishonest people along the line, and you say good luck to them. I hope they live in comfort. Then I start sticking more pins in their effigies. Let me try that one again. I've learned that through my life, you just get on with it. You're going to meet a lot of dishonest people along the line, and you say good luck to them. I hope they live in comfort. Then I start sticking more pins in their effigies. What do you think, DLAKE?
Oh, man. Mr. Roger jumped out at me as the first person because he seems the least likely to say something like sticking pins in their effigies, which is pretty much like saying you have a voodoo doll of somebody.
You're not going to say Mr. Rogers.
Yeah, that's pretty
Yeah,
much.
I'm going to say Mr. Rogers. Sam, what do you think?
Only D-Lake. I don't know, maybe it was a Mr. Rogers character, but I'm not going to go with it. I'm going to say Roger Moore.
You're going Roger Moore.
Yeah.
Don, what are you thinking?
I think it's that Elliot guy.
You think it's Elliot Roger?
Yeah. I think it's psycho.
All right. AJ, what do you think?
Okay, the quote. So, like, you don't feel bad about other people, but I mean, if they do feel bad against you, you do strike them in a covert way. I'm thinking James Bond.
You're thinking Roger Moore?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
It was Roger Moore.
Okay, who said that? AJ and
AJ and Sam, correct?
okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. So the next quote:
Yeah, suck it.
"There is no normal life that is free of pain. It's the very wrestling with our problems that can be impetuous for our growth.
I'll take it.
Go.
Go ahead, AJ.
Yeah, it's Mr. Rogers.
That sounds like Mr. Rogers to you?
I'm
It
doubling
sounds like Elliot Roger, but I'm taking I'm taking Mr. Rogers.
Me too.
I'm seeing Mr. Rogers right now.
You're going Mr. Rogers too?
Rogers too.
Yeah.
You're all going Mr. Rogers?
Oh, big power play. Here we go. What is it?
Theme.
It was Mr. Rogers.
-2 in the hole.
Kyle can only lose points if he has points. As of right now, it's Sam 3, AJ 3, Don 2, DLAKE 1, Kyle 0.
I'm at 0. All right, next quote. I'll get you this time.
Good.
I speak relatively little, except when I'm at home and asking for things.
Elliot Roger.
That sounds like Elliot Roger to you?
Yeah.
Sam, what are you thinking? I speak relatively little, except when I'm at home and asking for things.
Roger Moore. He's chilling, asking his butler to go get him stuff. He's an Englishman. He's older. Yeah.
Asking for PP7s. AJ?
Man, I'm conflicted. It sounds a lot like Roger Moore, but I'm gonna take Elliot Roger.
DLAKE.
I'm going with Sam there and saying Roger Moore.
All right, so it's Elliot.
For Elliot and 2 for Roger Moore.
Okay. Roger Moore.
Boom. Sam.
Better than I expected. All right, let's just move on to the next one here. There's no should or should not when it comes to having feelings. They're a part of who we are, and their origins are beyond our control.
Mr. Rogers.
Mr. Rogers?
Yeah.
I think that's kind of lofty, and it sounds like some prepared scripts, nonsense kind of talk that Elliot Roger would say. DLAKE says Elliot Roger.
Ah!
Sam?
Mr. Rogers.
Going Mr. Rogers too. AJ?
What was the quote again? I'm sorry.
There's no should or should not when it comes to having feelings. They're part of who we are, and their origins are beyond our control.
Man,
Man, I don't know if I
man,
want
that's a tough one. That is a tough one. Mr. Rogers.
You're going Mr. Rogers?
Yeah.
So 3 Mr. Rogers, 1 Elliot Roger.
Yeah.
Your final answer?
Elliot Roger.
Okay.
Final answer.
Final answer.
That was Mr. Rogers again. You're doing amazingly better than I expected from these. All right. The next quote is, I love BMWs. I'm just kidding. That's not it.
Oh.
Roger Moore. No.
I am a mixture of idealist and realist.
No way, that's the quote. Say it again. Jesus.
I am a mixture of idealist and realist.
James Bond.
Sounds like Roger Moore.
Yeah.
What are you thinking, AJ?
Yeah, Roger Moore.
You're going Roger Moore too?
Yeah.
Elliot Rogers.
Elliot Rogers?
Mr. Rogers.
You're going Mr. Rogers?
Yeah.
It was Roger Moore going to Don and AJ.
Oh.
We're going to stop having guests on this if the people who run the show keep losing.
Yeah. F you guys. Now I'm sorry I invited you. No, I'm just kidding. It's 5 AJ, 5 Sam, who's doing really well today.
Oh, hold on. If I could just real quick.
Don with 4, coming back from his last appearance. DLAKE with 2 and Kyle with 0. AJ, what were you gonna say?
It's yeah, you might learn to, I don't know. If you
anymore?
Yeah. Don't invite me anymore because then you've already.
Because you'll win.
Yeah, you'll learn. You've learned something, so you did win. You've won something in learning not to bring us back.
You're killing me, dude.
All I ever wanted was to love women and in turn be loved by them back.
Elliot Roger.
Yeah, Elliot.
Oh, this is way too simple, man.
So, is it though?
Is it Elliot Roger?
You're going Elliot Roger? Do you
Yes,
like?
sir. I'm gonna.
Roger Moore, James Bond, you idiots.
You guys are going.
I could see Roger Moore there. It flashed my
Okay,
mind.
well, what is it?
It flashed in a trick question.
It was Elliot Roger.
Oh!
I was hoping that you would fall into my trap of thinking it sounded too much like him. All right.
Damn you.
Quote. I got quite a few left. We got a long game today. I never liked guns. I hate them. I always blink before they go off.
Elliot Rogers.
You're going Elliot Roger, Sam?
Yep.
Okay, AJ, what do you think?
Roger Moore.
Roger Moore?
Yeah.
We should have clarified before this game whether those rumors about Mr. Roger being in the military are true. All right, Dom?
I'm going with Mr. 007.
007, Roger Moore.
They are true, I think.
DLAKE?
You guys serious? I think Kyle just gave us the answer. It's Mr. Rogers.
You're going Mr. Rogers?
Yeah.
It was Roger Moore. I was trying to throw you off again, being clever.
I'm not listening to Sam for shit. Who said that?
I did. AJ's got 7 points. Sam's got 6.
Yeah.
Roger Moore?
All right.
Are you
next
keeping
quote.
this in your head, or are you writing this down,
It was
AJ?
Roger
Yeah, of
Moore?
course. I
Yeah,
could
Roger
keep it
Moore.
in my. I could keep it in my head,
Kyle.
but I'm just.
Yeah, that was
Okay.
a Roger Moore quote. James
He
Bond.
blinks before they go off?
Yeah.
I thought that's what... Oh, never mind.
All right, and to anybody watching, play at home.
I've traveled all over the world. I have so much to talk about. I'm civilized.
Mr. Rogers.
Mr. Rogers?
Yeah, I'll go with Mr. Rogers.
What's everybody else thinking? Sam, what do you got?
Elliot.
That sounds like Elliot Roger.
I'm going to go with the Elster.
I'm going to double with Elliot.
You're going Elliot on that one?
Yeah.
AJ?
I've been around the world and I'm civilized.
I've been around the world. I have so much to talk about. Oh, I'm civilized.
I'm a supreme gentleman, and I drive my black BMW and kill people.
I'm Roger Moore. No, it's Mr. Rogers.
Mr. Rogers, you're saying?
Yeah.
As in, like, Mr. Rogers, Fred McFeely Rogers.
As in, yeah, it's all good. It's all good in the hood, you know.
The beautiful day for a neighbor.
Yeah. Change your shoes and put your sweater on. Yeah.
That was Elliot Roger.
Oh.
Who got that one? Sam did?
Me and
Yeah,
Sam.
because, like I said, when the show went off, I hadn't heard the story yet. And then I read his whole little dumb thing.
Yeah, after we got all the hate mail.
Oh, God forbid. You don't know it's real.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get more hate mail right now. All right.
I got something real quick. If you guys get hate mail, you're just doing your job really good.
I heard that. I heard that.
We got 4 more quotes. What's the score, DLAKE?
AJ with 7, Sam with 7, Don with 5, Kyle with 0, DLAKE with 3.
All right, so the game is not between me and you, that's for sure. All right. You don't have to look... Let me try that again. You don't have to look like everybody else to be acceptable and feel acceptable.
Oh, man.
What do you think, DLAKE?
Elliot Rogers.
Elliot
No. Mr. Rogers.
Mr. Rogers.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
just put on the line. Dom.
I'm going Mr. Rogers too.
Going Mr. Rogers. Sam.
Senior Rogers.
That could mean any of them.
Mr. Rogers.
AJ.
Okay, I'm sorry. What was the quote again?
You don't have to look like everybody else to be acceptable and to feel acceptable.
Yeah, that's Mr. Rogers.
So everybody is Mr. Rogers except DLAKE is...
No, I said Mr. Rogers.
Oh, so it's all Mr. Rogers?
Yeah.
Okay. It was Mr. Rogers. I would have gone if I had. If I had points to give you, they would be yours.
Yep.
All right, so we have 3 more. Let's just run through these. I have to be an optimist and say that it might get better.
Elliot.
Sounds like Elliot Rogers to Sam.
I'm
AJ.
going to Elliot Rogers too.
You're going Elliot?
Yeah.
AJ, what do you think?
Man, you couldn't be any more vague.
He lives for this.
Right. I'm gonna get a point. I'm gonna get a point. Man, let's go D-Lake before I make a decision. I don't know, man.
I
had something in mind, but I was looking something up. Read it one more time.
I have to be an optimist and say that it might get better.
Yeah, I'm going to say Roger Moore in the context of talking about the Bond movies.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. AJ.
So it's Elliot Roger.
Elliot Roger, Roger Moore, or Mr. Rogers? Which Mr. Rogers could be talking about special effects. I don't know.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying is I'm just trying to keep you from getting a point here. We'll say the third one that's not been chosen yet. That's Mr. Rogers. Has Mr. Rogers been chosen yet? I don't think so.
No, he hasn't.
Yeah, Mr. Rogers.
That was Roger Moore. So who got a point there? D-Lake? D-Lake got the point.
Was I the only one that said Roger Moore?
What have I done?
Yeah, you were.
D-Lake's got 5.
Oh, no.
This is getting confusing. Next time I have to remember a pen and paper. All right.
AJ 8, Sam 8,
Use your notepad.
Don 6, Kyle 0, D-Lake 5.
All right. And we have 2 more quotes. All right. How sad it is that we give up on people who are just like us. Ooh. What are you guys thinking? Sam.
Tough one.
That's so tough.
That's a hard one.
Mr. Rogers.
Mr. Rogers? AJ?
Yeah, I'm doubling up with Mr. Rogers.
Don.
I'm going to go with Elliot.
You're going Elliot and D-Lake.
So tough because I'm thinking Elliot, but I'm convinced it's Mr. Rogers. Can you read it just one more time, Kyle, please?
How sad it is that we give up on people who are just like us.
Clint Eastwood. I heard him.
Mr. Rogers.
It was Mr. Rogers.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, we got one more quote here, really quickly, and then D-Lake will read the scores. That guy was creepy as fuck.
No way.
That's actually every girl that Elliot Roger ever approached. So.
Inappropriate sound effect time.
All right, so who won? What are our places here?
Oh wait, that wasn't the last. Okay, I got it.
That was that.
AJ and Sam come in at a tie with both with 9. Good performance today, gentlemen. Don and I tied in second place, I guess you would say, with 6. And our host, Kyle, who thought he had the best game ever that he was going to win, came in with a big fat goose egg. 0! Nothing! Nil! Nada!
Who won again? Who won? Did I win?
AJ and Sam tied with 9.
Oh, no, I thought I lost. I thought, great, wow, we tied. Yes,
we lost.
we tied, yeah.
Yeah,
Tiebreaker. Who said, I will kill all those blonde sluts?
Now, Kyle, I have to know, was it because I bought a black van that made you think of Elliot Rogers? Or what in the world was it?
He's just a creepy bastard.
I was thinking of, like, I don't know why, but I was like, there's a lot of people with Roger in their name. Now it's like,
He sent me a picture of a van that had free candy spray painted on the side.
oh yeah. You never. That's the thing. You spray paint free candy on your creepy van.
That's funny.
Well, everybody knows that strangers have the best candy.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever seen that Conrad the Constitution cartoon?
No, I don't think.
Yeah, yeah. Conrad the Constitution.
Hilarious, man. It has an Obama van, says free phones. Freaking hilarious.
That is funny.
And entertaining. Let's wrap up with entertainment, guys. What do you have?
I got something.
I have a surprise for you. It's poop.
What's poop?
I have a surprise for you. It's poop.
Oh.
Guide it.
Well, I mean, at least it's a surprise. Thanks, actually. Nobody's given me
I
anything
remember
recently.
that show. That's the greatest soundbite that Kyle's ever made.
No. The best soundbite that I've ever pulled is definitely this one.
I wasn't fully prepared.
All right. Let's get into entertainment. DLAKE, take over. You're an entertainment guru. I think DLAKE might be, pissing in a jug right now. But
I will say this: if you get a chance, the new V&V Nation, a little on the slow side, unfortunately, but Retaliate is amazing, and Aeroscope is just phenomenal. I like it even more than Retaliate. So you're gonna want to check that out. It's very, very good.
what is that? Is that one of your albums?
It's a CD that I like. V&V Nation. Look up the song Aeroscope or Retaliate. Either one. Very, very, very good.
I'll have to look that up. You know what song I've been getting into a lot recently? I've been getting.
Who let the dogs out? No,
I've been
I'm kidding.
it actually came out the same year as Who Let the Dogs Out, which is Macy Gray. Try to walk away.
She's from Canton. She's from where I live.
Is she?
Yeah.
Oh, that explains a lot. I can't breathe, though I try to hide it. It's true. AJ Twinam, I fucking love you. That's the original lyric. She was in love with her.
Hey, no, everybody loves AJ, man. You want to know why? Because AJ stands for awesome job. Like,
I'm surprised.
Yeah.
I'm surprised at that less cleverness with letters and spelling after reading the sign behind you.
think for yourself. Question. That's my banner. That's my banner that I took to Charleston with me over last July 4th when the Armed March got canceled in Washington, D.C., and then we went, Kokesh said, instead of going to Washington, D.C., just go to your state capital. So I went to my... Yeah, so I went to my state capital all alone. I was the only person that was trying to advocate any type of liberty. So, yeah, that's my banner. That's my trophy.
AJ just trying to read a book under a tree and got harassed and...
You can't read a book under a tree. I mean, the sticks did look kind of shady.
Yeah, they had sharp, pointy edges, and they could kill people while you're laying down under the bed. It's rules. We gotta just keep following the rules, man. They what makes us better.
It hasn't come up since we've talked about it on the show before, but I want to ask Don because he's the only person here. I know Sam is familiar with the movies, but Don, are you familiar with the movie poster behind me right here?
Nah.
That's Billy Jack. Do you know?
Oh.
You know who Billy Jack is?
No, I can't say I do.
He's a half-breed Native American who lives on the reservation and protects anyone that the townspeople fuck with. He takes off his shoes and kicks people in the face.
Yeah, I still have to watch that on Netflix. I haven't watched it yet.
Great movies. Billy Jack.
Better watch it while they still have it. They're always changing stuff up.
Yeah, they're always flipping things out.
The new Black is coming soon, and transgenders are going to be the new races.
Linebackers.
I watched a documentary recently on Netflix about a guy with a small penis. Have you seen this?
Unhung Hero. I watched it.
Yeah, Unhung Hero. Alright, you watched it? Did it seem fake as fuck to you?
I mean, I don't know when that video supposedly got millions and millions of views, but he proposed to some chick at like a sports stadium. She said no and ran away. And then he said that the reason, she told him that the reason was because his penis was too small. And then he went on like a worldwide fact-finding mission on how to make his penis bigger. And then he ended up hooking up with a girl in a most not real seeming way for her to tell him that it was, there's more that goes into a relationship besides the size of your penis and blah, blah, blah.
And there were a lot of scenes where, like, he'd sneak a video camera into, like, a bathroom or sneak a video camera into a locker room trying to get shots.
Oh, which seemed fake.
It always seemed fake, and there were no faces blurred out, which I can't help but feel like unless that was staged, Netflix would never put that up because of a liability.
And then when I was done with that, they're like, "Oh, DLAKE, this is the stuff you're into? Watch Whore's Glory."
Did they tell you to watch the one on what's his name? What's his name? The transvestite who's like looks like a dude and pretty much is a dude but has a vagina. You know who I'm talking about? What's his name? He was on Joe Rogan's podcast.
The black transgender that's on Orange is the New Black?
No.
She's on the cover of Time magazine. And tranny all of a sudden is a bad word. Look, I don't even want to talk about it. Let's talk about this. I found this entertaining this week, you guys. Let me go to my screen share. Sorry to dominate the show right there in that instance, but
you're such a dictator.
I know. You better listen to what I say, AJ. Utah high school edits female students' yearbook photos to make them appear more modest or appear modest.
They photoshopped her?
Yeah, that's right.
But only half the girls were. Okay, and that's what bothered the girls the most. It seems like the school randomly picked girls which pictures to edit. In one case, 2 different girls were wearing nearly identical tops. One photo was altered to add sleeves and the other was not. Supposedly there was a dress code. This girl's tattoo and open front shirt gets changed to a no tattoo, very high top, I guess you would say. This girl, a little bit of bra strap showing there. Well, that's covered up with sleeves. Her sleeveless shirt now has sleeves.
That's not even the slightest bit provocative. Like
this girl's shoulders that we are all wanting for. We see those shoulders and we're like, oh man, I'm a red-blooded American. I need to, get those shoulders right now.
Oh, I just want to eat those shoulders with my penis. No,
we need to cover those shoulders so that Kyle doesn't go on some kind of penis rampage on high school girls.
Oh, I'm so bored for these yearbook photos. Like, are you kidding?
Kyle's gonna show up at the high school and start shoulder fucking these young girls.
Who's doing this? Who's doing the what?
People in vans like Sam. With free candy on the side of it. In Utah, these yearbook photos are being photoshopped.
They're not even the slightest bit provocative. Like, if a girl showed up in, like, some really sleazy shit, I mean,
the school tried to say it was the dress code, like you couldn't have sleeveless, but they did publish girls with sleeveless attire.
Yeah, you let them in. What, Don?
It's probably a Mormon school.
Yeah, but I mean, even still, it's like if it was part of the dress code, you would have made them change before taking the picture. It's like those pictures aren't provocative, and I've been to Utah, and here's the thing. In Utah, it's like 95 fucking degrees year-round, so girls, wear spaghetti straps and stuff like that.
Dude, we used to get free combs and brushes on photo day.
Hell yeah.
And if your attire wasn't appropriate, why'd they let you take the picture in the first place? But actually, my senior year picture, we had to go to an independent place to get it done. And maybe that's what happened. The photo place is the one that decided that they were going to Photoshop in the school. I don't know, guys, but this is...
Well, look at that. Is there any... Those are like the least...
This is Photoshop gone awry. Let's talk about the ethics of Photoshopping.
That's ridiculous. It's not even bad. It's not even like they're wearing provocative clothing, and the Photoshop work looks horrendous. I mean, DLAKE, that's kind of your thing. That Photoshop work, look at that top, the one on top.
It's awful.
Literally put a line across and color blended it.
I went to college for that.
And the color...
She laughed at us.
I mean, look at the color difference. It's like, hey, thanks, you put a new top on me, and you put some shoulders on my shirt. Do you think you could have got the zits on my chin, or maybe made my boobs look bigger or something? Come on!
Get rid of their acne, fix their hair, get rid of the flyaway, get the fucking spinach out of their teeth. Instead, you're like, we can't see those fucking sexy-ass shoulders.
Can I have blue eyes? Can I have blue eyes instead? I mean,
no, that's too hot. That's too hot. Blue eyes are hot. Dudes like that. You can't.
Man, what was it? Bill Hicks actually. Come to think of it, Bill Hicks said something like this. He was talking about pornography and what justified as pornography or whatever, like something that was unartistic that had a sexually enticing motive or whatever.
Yeah.
And he said And he said, just to end the argument right here, right now, like we are beings, we are beings that are going to be, you know, eternity is our playground. Like we are eternal, and just to end the argument right here, do you know what causes sexually enticing thoughts? Having a dick.
Yeah, no, I remember that Bill Hicks line, and that's a good one. Yeah, it's like dudes have dicks, and I do blame the dude though. When I see like a 50-year-old dude, like I work in a station, as Sam calls it. I work at a gas station, and thank you for that, Sam. You made my job sound a lot more professional. But when like a girl comes in who's like 16 and you know she's dressed a little skimpy because it's the middle of summer and it's fucking hot outside, and then the 50-year-old dude behind her in line like, oh, she was fucking hot. It's like, no, you're fucking creepy. And I say things like, all right.
Yeah, but it's summertime here in San Diego, and I mean,
I'm not saying you can't look.
Oh, well, I'm just creepy then.
Girls,
creepy.
They're long-legged stems poking out the short shorts with the short tops and boobs.
You're going to look. You're going to. You're gonna glance and you're gonna get some bones out of it. No,
I don't comment to the station.
No, you don't.
Hey, I really.
You don't openly stare at them. You don't like openly gawk at a fucking 17-year-old. You creepy bastards. And you know what I'll always say? I'll have guys all the time. They'll be like, "Oh, that girl had a nice ass," and I'll say, "I was looking at you." And they get really fucking creeped out. And when they get creeped out, I say, "What? You don't like somebody twice your size who could physically hold you down, making creepy comments about your body?" Oh. My bad, and they get really pissed off.
Well, Kyle, all I can tell you is that's why I wear these dark glasses. So hopefully I can avoid everyone noticing that I'm looking at that ass.
You wear the glasses as you walk by, and as she walks past, you take them off to wipe something off the lens so that you can get the backside. Everybody knows this. This is common man stuff, but you don't make it creepy. You don't make comments. You know, you keep it to yourself.
If you've been in serious relationships, you know how to look at other things happening in your vicinity without looking like you're looking at it.
Yeah, don't be creepy and don't make comments at dudes. It's really weird. Like when I'm like, cause I'm.
It's not easy. All things in moderation. Mushrooms, looking at hot chicks. You know.
I've got a question.
I don't have no problem, honestly, with what they did with the yearbook. At least they didn't make them look sluttier.
That's
Hell
true.
yeah.
I'll give you that.
Yeah. Making them look more modest is okay. Making them look more slick. Yeah, they're all airbrushed with like big boobs.
I'm a conservative anyway. You know, I don't have no problem with that.
I'm a conservative. Less clothing.
No, Don. Hold it right there, Don. Don't you believe in the conservative values of these young high school girls to wear what they want to wear? And they thought what they were wearing was appropriate. And then they find out that it was not appropriate because we have to cover up your shoulders.
And here's
so Kyle doesn't come shoulder F you at this high school.
If some girl comes in for her picture dressed like a prostitute, I expect that the school will say, "Fuck you, go home and change." It's
got to be stopped before the picture. I don't wearing photoshopping afterwards.
Yeah,
I'm sure that somebody said something about the dress code before the pictures were taken.
But those girls aren't dressed like, I mean, look at those girls.
No, they're not, but
they're trying to say the established dress code was...
With somebody looking more conservative, I have no problem with that. Usually it's people taking clothes off of little girls, which is absolutely disgusting.
You're right. So, I mean, there's worse things. We should make that clear. It's worse to take clothes off of underage girls than it is to put more on. I will agree with that. But, I mean, my point is just that, like, it seems extreme, and it seems like...
My point was Photoshop ethics, and how do you guys feel about putting famous movie stars' faces on naked bodies?
Oh, I'm all for it.
I love that.
Dude, we can... Me, you, and Sam, DLAKE... We can make a website where that's what we do. You send in a picture of someone. We don't care who it is. It's none of our fucking business who this picture of it is, and we just make them naked. That's our job. We make them naked for you. $20 a pic. Done. Money. Cha-ching. My cha-ching. You can make a lot of money doing that. I had this thought. Not seriously. I don't really want to do it, but think we would make a lot of money, wouldn't we?
Celebrity skin.
No, I'm not saying celebrity. I'm saying you send in a picture, whether it's Angelina Jolie or your best friend's wife. None of my business.
Well, look, we got AJ on the show, and he posted this on his Facebook page.
Oh, shit. Hold on. I need to wrap my head around that. Okay, go ahead, DLAKE. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
AJ, you posted this.
I did post it.
Already be wrapped around it.
I'm not prepared to
Kyle, Sam, guys, why is this okay when this is not okay and the nipple is blocked by Facebook?
One word, memories.
Because milk comes out of these memories, okay? You don't want little babies to get too excited.
That's the culture we live in.
All
It's
right.
cultural. Is it cultural, Don? Don, what do you think?
It's the culture we live in. I've been to other countries where the girls run around naked.
Hell yes.
You know what I'm saying? But welcome to the United States.
Right, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Never mind that you were born naked. Never mind that you were born with no clothes. It's wrong for you to be naked.
Yeah, but you weren't born with boobs. Those came later.
Yeah, well, again,
Yeah.
I think it's a penis thing because the guy standing there with no shirt does nothing for me. But even those little boobs right there are A cups. I'm excited. I want to see what's underneath those Facebooks.
I want to see them. Well, here's the other side of it, too, is that if you put a girl topless in a movie, you can get away with an R rating. Put a dick in a movie and see what rating you get.
Hey, no, wait, we're in entertainment. Let me look it up real fast. Ava Green's Sin City poster was banned by the MMA or the Motion Picture Association of America.
Those sketchy bastards.
That's surprising.
What's the one that does the ratings?
Yeah, that's them. The MPAA.
Yeah, there's a movie about them. This film is not yet rated, I think is what it's called. It's on Netflix. And it's all about how like that is like the most bullshit system of rating. It's just like a ton of like 70-year-old people who are like,
Usually in Hollywood, they push out the dirtiest thing they think they can get away with.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's Walking Dead. Actually, if you the first couple episodes of Talking Dead, they actually say that they push the envelope on the killing people, like the violence
coming out.
Yeah.
Yeah, they actually try to see what they can do that might get them censored.
I'd take
on my
that tomato.
On my screen share, Frank Miller's Sin City, with directed by Robert Rodriguez and Frank Miller. This poster that we're looking at, Ava Green. I've been especially bad. I've got a gun, but you can see too much under boobage and a little bit of maybe possibly nipplage. So this poster is going to be banned by the Motion Picture Association of America, the MPAA.
It's probably because of the gun.
But the gun is not pointed at the camera. The gun's not pointed at the camera. It's specifically because of this undercarriage of boob here and possibly slight nipplage.
It's hot girl with a gun.
Pornographic.
If it's a girl, they would let it go.
I've got a question here that just might resolve this entire issue. If everybody was allowed to walk naked to begin with, would the sexually enticed thoughts be done with?
No, rape would go up significantly. And
I'm not talking about right now. I'm talking about
smoke marijuana and walk around naked, because that would make it even worse.
We were tribal.
Reefer madness would kick in.
Yeah. If we were tribal, yeah, I mean, those naked tribes in Africa, it's really no big deal. We don't even care about your boobs. We like your big, gigantic, the bigger the plate in your lip is. That gets us hot there.
Well, Kyle is right. Rape would go up, but over time, it would be accepted.
Well, see, that's what I'm saying, is if we started this all back from the beginning, like back in 1776, George Washington said everybody had to walk around naked. This wouldn't be an issue right now.
We would be booming. I'll tell you.
Hold it right there. Great job, AJ Twinam. Love your Facebook page. You actually just brought it all back around, because George Washington certainly would want everyone to grow hemp. We started today's show with DLAKE reading the headlines. They're not going to prosecute medicinal marijuana users, and also they're going to let states again begin to grow hemp without prosecution. And I think that's a great way to bring the show full circle. Kyle, how do you feel about it?
No, I think it's awesome that we're going to be growing hemp in this country again. It's amazing.
Let's do it.
It's amazing for the economy. Paper companies, DuPont will go out of business. Fuck DuPont. I don't care if you go out of business.
Yeah,
like,
Well, they better get on the marijuana train. You know what I mean? If they want to survive, it'll be the trend of the day, so they have to adjust just like everybody else does.
I went into Giant Eagle. They've got all natural. They can buy even Kraft now has all organic food.
We could go into all the benefits of hemp and all natural and all these great things.
They have to go that way if they want to survive.
People already know the information. If I sit here and tell you Henry Ford made he made a fucking car entirely out of hemp. Hemp can be recycled as paper like 5 times longer than starches from trees.
Great for clothing, building materials,
everything. Building materials, completely biodegradable. You already know this shit. Who am I preaching to? Everybody in the country knows this already.
Yeah, you can make oil and gasoline and all kinds
apparently Congress and Barack Obama are completely blind to the facts, and that's why we do these shows every week, Kyle. Great show today.
Thank you.
Usually those kind of laws are there to protect oil and paper, and you know what I mean? About time we start to see some real stuff.
And everybody knows that. We don't even have to go into it. But it looks like we're coming towards the end of the show. We've gone pretty long here. So let's give...
Closing in on 2 hours, guys. Great. Thanks for joining, too. Excellent Who Done Said It today. Kyle, why don't you wrap us up a little bit?
All right, well, first, Who Done Said It was great. Science front, we did a little bit of DLAKE reading the news. AJ, why don't you say your goodbyes? Then anything that you want to push, any websites you want people to check out, then we'll go to Don, and then Sam, DLAKE, and then I'll come back and I'll take us out.
All right. Well, first off, I totally didn't even mean to, when I dropped the whole psilocybin thing, I didn't mean to, take the show off into a whole, 30 minutes of talking about drugs. but I guess, if you don't do it, then it ain't worthwhile, or something like that. A couple of things that I want to hit on just real quick is let's see, get this screen share going on here. Okay, never mind. The White House press secretary, Jay Carney, he resigned. The clown that was speaking
thank you,
for Obama. It's like Jay Carney saying is like I'm giving up because I can no longer say that the Obama administration did not know what the Obama administration was administering.
Well, thanks, AJ, for bringing that up. And on that point, I just want to say I can't wait to hear what he has to say a few months from now after he's out of the position, just like Robert Gibbs, to tell us about the drone program that he wasn't allowed to talk about. I want to hear about all the things he wasn't allowed to talk about. I can't wait for 6 months from now when Jay Carney reveals that he totally had to help whitewash Benghazi and the Benghazi story. And I hope Trey Gowdy calls him into that investigation.
Yeah, holds them to task. Another thing is on the entertainment front, Savage 2 is a create your own free account. I play a lot of real-time strategy games. I play StarCraft mostly, but I'm all about my chess on steroids. But what I'm looking at right now is Savage 2, and pretty much what they're saying, it's an RTS mixed with a first-person shooter. So I'm going to create my free account, and we'll see how that goes. But I'm AJ Twinam, Facebook account, Spoken Do Good, like that. Think for yourself, question authority, know when to disobey, and don't be afraid of what others say.
Definitely. Don, why don't you tell people where we can find you and your YouTube page?
Yeah, I'm Don. I run Save America's Liberty on YouTube. I'm on G+ too. I just want people to realize that the government ain't some great big powerful entity that can just round everybody up in one night. If we would stand up all together, and I mean together, I mean everybody, this would all just go away.
Definitely. Sam, why don't you give us a little close out, tell us about the correct views, and then we'll go to DLAKE.
Yes, I want to mention, supposedly RT said that, I just saw it flash up on Facebook. Look it up, see if it's right. I haven't got to see the video yet, so don't leave comments saying it's wrong. But supposedly RT just questioned whether or not 9/11 was an inside job. So that's quite a story, if it is true. Friends, go to youtube.com/thecorrectviews. You can find me, The Correct Views, on Facebook. Also look up Passing Time. That's the band I'm in. We're playing Buzzbin June the 14th in downtown Canton, and it's going to be a summer masquerade.
If I could, real quick.
Yes.
About the 9/11 being an inside job.
Sure.
Edward Snowden just came out with DLAKE kind of covered this with the with his censored talk on the news. Edward Snowden actually said that we had the information that we needed to have to stop it to begin with. So if we did have the information to stop it, wouldn't we be allowing that to happen so that we could use that for our own advantage? Like, I mean, if we had the information to begin with, then it had to be an inside job because people knew that it was going to happen. So why didn't this information get reported? Or why is this information just coming up now, 13 years later, almost 13 years later?
No, definitely. And that's we got to get into that next episode with the Glenn Greenwald and all the names that are going to be released. We'll hit that probably Saturday, maybe a little bit earlier. DLAKE, why don't you tell us about yourself?
Yeah, for sure. AJ, thanks for giving a shout out to my last video covering the article by Mikhail Thalen all about NBC censoring that portion of their interview with Brian Williams where Edward Snowden was talking about critical 9/11 comments. Like we have the information, the NSA didn't share the information, the haystack's getting bigger, they don't understand the haystack, they're putting more hay on top of it with their mass surveillance, basically saying the NSA doesn't work. NBC was trying to present that the NSA does work, but it doesn't work. I mean, listen to Edward Snowden. In my personal opinion, it's a limited hangout. Edward Snowden is supposed to be a hero and a traitor, so that we continuously argue about that fact. Last week, everyone can find DLAKE for Prez, David Lake, on themediaspeaks.com. You can find Kyle Phillips, Anthony Court, Sam I.B. DiGangi there. You can see our previous videos that include AJ, Dawn, other guests, amazing interviews with Kyle Thalen, who else you want to name? Ventura, whatever. Okay. Last week our video had 30,000 views. We had a lot of hate mail, but we also had people agreeing with us. Ben, the junior reporter, or the J reporter, says absolutely. He agrees with us. Absolutely, 100%, exclamation point. The first odd thing that strikes me about Roger's death, Elliot Rodger, who was in today's Who Done Said It, death video, is that the emotion in it seems very affected. Notice how he stops talking and sniggers every now and again. This appears to be very focused and bogus, or forced and bogus. The things he says also sound like he's reading out of some dialogue from a cheap Revenge of the Nerd novel or B-movie. That's pretty much what we were saying, Ben. Thanks for agreeing.
And that's what
Lots of cliches, nothing original, nothing even particularly personal. It comes across as a sham. That's what we were saying. He agrees with us. Kyle, thanks for having me on the show. DLAKE for Prez, themediaspeaks.com. Check out all my videos. Welcome to the war.
Yeah, and we got all the hate because we were the first one to say it. The next day on all the Sunday shows, everybody said the exact same thing. I heard it on mainstream media. I heard it on
Rush Limbaugh.
I heard it on the radio.
Alex Jones.
They all said the exact same thing. We took the grunt because we're not on fucking mainstream media, and I'm sure Alex got his fucking fair share of it too.
I'm sure he mocked some of our talking points.
If I could, just real quick, you said something about the NSA not working. It doesn't work. In fact, if you're gonna stop terrorism, why are you making why are you trying to record everything? Why are you trying to take everybody's information? Couldn't the terrorists get that same information that you are recording? Like, aren't you working? Yeah, aren't you?
Technology to look into the future and minority.
Yeah. Don't phone our drones. Okay, great show, guys. Kyle.
Thank everybody for coming in. Thank you, Don, for joining us. AJ, Save America's Liberty, and then Spoken Do Good on Facebook for AJ. You can find us at themediaspeaks.com, at themediaspeaks on Twitter, themediaspeaks, spelled out, com, themediaspeaks, on YouTube. We're all over the place. Go on Facebook, The Media Speaks. We love to get all your likes. Tweet at us. One of our big stories today was tweeted at us about 3 hours before we went on air, and we went over it. So tweet at us. Come hit us up. We do the show every time, Saturday, 1 p.m. Central. We'll read anything that you put into the Q&A. Check out The Correct Views. Welcome to the war. Twitter trends or TMS trends. whenever we put those shows out. Correct Views is like 3 a day. It's insane. Just, share, subscribe, like. That's all we ask. We don't want your money. All we want is to give you information and you to take this information to the people who really need it. Because if you're watching our show regularly, you don't need the information. You're here because you enjoy it. But you need to get that information out to people who are really going to be affected by it, all those haters on our last video. That's what we aim to do. We love haters because at least the information got to them. So thanks for watching, and tune in next Saturday for a much better episode.